Hey guys, this is Aussie Ty, and I'm here with Nathan from Free Market Token to talk about the Free Market Token ICO. Nathan, what do you do at Free Market Token?
I'm one of the three co-founders, and my primary role is to keep everyone in order.
All right.
One of our strengths is the fact that because there's three of us and we all identify each other's abilities, we don't try and cross over too much. But I'm more like, I guess I'd be the one in the plane overseeing the overall, so more like a project management type role, keeping the wheels on the bus and make sure everyone's working hard and cracking the whip.
And was that your professional background before Free Market Token?
No, I've been an entrepreneur of sorts for the last about 13, 14 years. I had an engineering business, had a couple of restaurants. In fact, that's how I met Austin. Was prior to restaurants, was entrepreneurial enterprise and getting amongst things, and then we got into business with restaurants. That's how we met our other partner, Raf. He came in for a coffee one day, staff didn't show up, I covered the shift, I served coffee, and here we are.
The rest is history.
Years down the track, here we are,
Yeah, cool. So Nathan, why did you decide to incorporate blockchain technology to eCrypto Store?
Okay, well, with the crypto store, what we found was part of the problem with a general platform is that you can't actually create all the facilities you need and tokenize and keep transparency. So we decided to put a token to it, and the metrics of the token work to reduce fees, offset subscriptions, used in the sense of collateral to instantly release funds from Escrow, things like that, which you need transparency in that. You can't really can't just believe in people in the crypto world. It's not a two-way street. You can't recall funds if you send them. So you need to know that when you're sending them, there's something behind it, and there's trust.
And it's trusted.
Yeah, so it's transparency and trust. And then just some other functionality which is just unique to crypto, can't be done in traditional sense.
And why couldn't we do it with Fiat?
Mainly because we're not focused on the traditional market space. It's been dominated by the big guns. They're screwing everyone on price and everything. Yes, we could have gone in and try and compete and take a percentage of their business playing in Fiat, but we're not interested in that. We're interested in creating an environment supporting merchants and users in crypto primarily, and then going outward and helping with mass adoption. We believe this is the future. Crypto is the future, not Fiat. Fiat's dying. You can see the weakness, the inefficiencies, and we've got a unique opportunity if we can cover the right bases, which is all the things we've focused on in the project. We're not going to have an issue in uptake. It'll just be a matter of people choosing to come on board. Yeah.
So my experience with eBay is that if I buy something from America, they charge me a foreign fee, which is quite high. Is that how you're going to compete?
Well, it's part of it. Essentially, eBay's charging about 10.8% for a casual sale anyway. And then plus you got PayPal fees on top, so it's quite a large chunk of the budget for a merchant, right? And so what we're not trying to do is be direct competition with them, but just have a more efficient model, and blockchain provides that. Technology provides it, and we're not greedy about it. So what we're looking at is bringing it down to more like about a 1% charge for most of the merchants on the platform.
That sounds very fair.
Yeah, well, that's the idea. We're not interested in robbing people in the process. There's enough money in it for everyone to have a great life, a great situation, provided we cover the bases, and that's our job.
Is there any reason apart from using Crypto Store you would hold on to Free Market Token?
Well, we do have quite a few plans, and we've already started some talks with future platforms who will also use Free Market Token in different sense. And I'll give you an example. We're working on, this is early days, but we're working on a game which will incentivize people. It's a AR game, incentivizing people to go into premises of business and be able to use the token and things like that.
That's awesome. Using blockchain to revitalize the bricks and mortar retail businesses.
Yeah, well,
I love that idea.
Yeah, and we realise that a large amount of money and a lot of transactions are happening not online as well. And it's not to try and cater for everybody, but it's very complementary. So, for example, someone who becomes a merchant on a crypto store, they possibly have a traditional business anyway. And instead of trying to drive someone online and out of their traditional business, cater for both. So they're a merchant on here, hey, we'll support you in store as well.
Oh, that's great. That's a great multi-target strategy there.
The critical things that we're actually doing with it, the problems we're solving is the time efficiencies around, like generally speaking, when you transact in e-commerce with crypto, not even transacting, when you're using crypto, when you want to use crypto, you make some profits or something, and then you're eventually going to spend it online again. But the process currently is that you're trading, you make some profits, you take it to an exchange, you sell it, you put it in your bank account, and then you go shopping online with your card using the same funds which started online with digital money. So we're trying to cut out that entire loop and just say, you've already got crypto, why not create a simple use case that anyone can actually use? Like, we want it so simple that grandma can use it and not be overwhelmed.
That's great, because I think you've kind of hit the nail on the head with the friction, like having to get your crypto, get it out of an exchange, get it into fiat, then use it, and then get it back in. It's just all so messy. But if you just keep everything in that ecosystem and actually have avenues for expenditure and transaction, I think that's a very powerful piece that you're building to support the actual blockchain as well.
So and so obviously on the layer there, everything transacting in crypto is blockchain, so it's all verifiable. And then the second part of that is the accessibility and spending on platform to make it just button simple. So it's like click, buy, yep, done. Very simple user experience. And then also on the back end, and this is what the guys are working on right now, is having it so you can take crypto, whatever crypto you have, and this is our, it's in development, but have someone, let's say for example you want to spend Bitcoin, but I'm a merchant, I don't want to receive, let's say Bitcoin, I want Ethereum. So you're spending Bitcoin, but I'm immediately getting Ethereum. Or even maybe I want fiat into my bank account. So you're spending Bitcoin, but I'm getting fiat into my bank account as opposed to only what the buyer is sending. So it's like an internal shapeshift that's happening instantly and giving them the outcome they want at the same time. So
you're doing that instant swap for them?
Yeah, so it'll be optional to what they want. They'll be able to customize their outcomes. So for example, you're spending Bitcoin, I want 50% Ethereum and 50% fiat. It'll happen. And I won't need to go through the tedious process of moving money around, transfers, exchanges, whatever, because I've just pre-selected it and therefore it goes through.
That's great if I'm
trying as well.
Yeah, that's great if I'm trying to rebalance my portfolio with these transactions.
Yeah. And also as a merchant, part of the thing being a merchant, I know from being a merchant on eBay and things like that in the past, is the cash flow side of things, waiting for money to show up. And the circuit in crypto currently to go out and then back in is a couple of days, because the banks don't generally, or sometimes the exchange doesn't release to the bank straight away.
No, and say when I've sold stuff on eBay, PayPal holds it for about 2 weeks, and you think, well, I've sent it, it's been delivered, but you're still holding my money for ages. So if a faster settlement means that a merchant can have those funds to reinvest in stock or do more trading.
Yep. And keep the cash flow and the wheels on the bus, pay the bills and do all those things. And so that's a big element to it. Is our primary objective is to make it simple on, simple use, simple off from a crypto point of view. And why we have fiat integration already on the site is really simple, because we want it to be attractive for people to come across from a fee basis to say, okay, I can pay 10.8% on eBay or 46% on Amazon, or I can pay as low as 1% on eCrypto stock. It makes sense. And then the token side of things is very important in that aspect, because the token's what reduces the fees. It's what offsets subscription costs, so there's no monthly fees at all if they have a certain amount of tokens. And then it provides protection for both buyer and seller with a unique escrow. And that's something that no one's properly been able to solve that problem. With the merchants exposed to the market volatility, we believe we've covered that with our approach to it, something pretty unique, and it's transferring the risk from the funds that you send as a buyer and simply transferring that risk to, or that collateral, I guess, to something that you're already using and holding for a different purpose, utility purpose.
Okay. And that escrow feature, do you have to transact in free market token, or it's just part of the platform?
So the collateral that, let's say, to offset that transaction will be done with free market token.
Right.
Absolutely. So FMT will be that collateral. And
So it's integral to the process.
It is, yeah.
Okay.
Otherwise, they can just go by a standard smart contract basis and have their funds locked up and wait for it however long it takes. But what we're interested in doing, having instant settlement. So let's say, for example, you sell me something, I send the goods. Before that, you're selling something, I send the money. Right?
And so I, as a merchant,
locked up.
So as a merchant, I can say, yep, they're paid, and now I can release the goods.
Yeah. But normally what would happen is you wouldn't get that money under a smart contract, escrow. That would be locked up until you send the goods to me, and then I agree, and then both of us have got what we want. Right? Now, in our case, we're saying, hang on, why should the merchant be exposed to the market volatility? What about this? What about if I send you the money, you get that money straight away, but you're hedging now against something else, free market token in this case, to mean that you send the goods. Now, if, let's say you didn't send the goods, this is the collateral and safety for me, but now you're not exposed because you instantly settled on the transaction, you're not exposed to the market volatility.
Okay, so we've settled on the free market token as the value?
Collateral.
As the collateral, okay, so you've locked that value in,
and then the smart contract executes in time, and then you get your free market tokens back.
Okay, great, because as we know with crypto, it can fluctuate so much that if you're waiting for goods to ship, it might take up to 30 days, depending where it's from. It can either go up really high or really, really low.
Yeah, well, just in the last few days, we saw the market tank a bit, and I could imagine if you're a merchant and you're working on a 15 or 20% profit margin, and the market tanks, now you've actually sold something at a loss if you need that money for cash flow. But if it's settled instantly and you've turned it back to fiat if you need to pay the bills, you're not exposed. But because the utility aspects of free market token on the platform, you're holding them anyway. And I always liken it to the idea of like a jeweler. A jeweler has a pile of gold to make the jewellery. Now they don't care if the price of gold goes up or down a little bit because they're using it for the utility aspect. They're holding that regardless of the market fluctuation because they're making the profit on the retail end.
Yeah.
Now in our case it's the same, where FMT is like the block of gold there, but you're transacting for cash, like jewellery, crypto, example.
So over the last couple of months, the market's been pretty volatile and dire for crypto. Has that influenced how you've approached your ICO?
Not directly. We're sticking to our game plan anyway because we've got a project and we've got to fulfill the timelines and things and get it to market, get it like more users and everything. So not really, but funny enough, the sentiment was something we were keeping an eye on. We were a little bit concerned about everything being read on the books, and we're thinking, oh my goodness, is it a good time to launch? And we said, we'll go anyway. And just as we were preparing the last final stages to kick off, the market started changing sentiment, becoming more bullish, and so I think we've timed it really well, but it wasn't a determining factor whether we launched then or not. It just was good alignment, universal alignment.
Yeah. Okay, great. With ICOs in general, if the market's bad, does the ICO perform badly?
It could affect it. It's not something that definitely does, but absolutely sentiment does, because if you know you're close to the bottom, you don't want to relinquish any Bitcoin or Ethereum when you know it's about to moon again.
Yeah, true.
Right?
Yeah.
So then it's that trade-off of, like from a trading point of view, it's always in the mindset of, am I going to get more gains by being part of this ICO or not part of this ICO? So it's the opportunity cost.
Yeah.
In our case, we aren't too concerned anyway because we feel our value proposition is very good, and the people who are supporting the project are believing the bigger picture of what we're doing and knowing that we've got other platforms and things that'll take up token. and it's just nothing more than a case of supply and demand metrics, right?
Yeah.
If you have enough uptake of the token and enough people hanging onto it for various reasons, then supply is in shortage, there's more demand, and therefore price does what price does. But when obviously we can't dictate any of that, but we can see there's lots of opportunity for anyone getting amongst it because there's genuine use case, and then there's motive for people to hold on to growing amounts, especially as you get bigger merchants on board. They're going to have more to offset escrows and things like that, and use case, and there's consumption, and then also some of the tokens go through a freeze process. I think.
So the freeze process is to ensure the stability of the token?
No, it's just it's a freeze process. Basically, as the tokens go through the ecosystem, they run through sort of like filters. So any affiliate commissions or anything that's required to be paid is already out of the way, and then it gets distributed through the token dissemination on the white paper. And part of that is tokens get locked up in a freezer for 2 years after they're spent. So it just they'll eventually get defrosted and drop back through the same filters.
Yeah.
So some of the tokens probably end up in an eternal freeze, possibly,
Yeah.
But that's all just part of instead of burning tokens and completely removing them from the ecosystem, it allows the ecosystem to grow and flourish, but also helps with supply and demand metrics for people who are getting on board and want to ensure that it's not a never-ending supply or anything like that. And obviously we've got a set supply of total supply of 550 million tokens.
550 million.
Yeah.
And it's built on the NEM blockchain?
Yep,
Yeah.
absolutely.
And what informed your choice to use NEM?
Good question. That's probably the most common question we get. How come you didn't choose Ethereum or something? Quite simply, Ethereum's a phenomenal platform and ecosystem they've created. However, we couldn't afford in e-commerce the user experience of, let's say, CryptoKitties coming along again
Right.
and lagging the network, because as a user, a user experience in e-commerce is very sensitive to where you are shopping. Is your thought process is this a good experience? Is it not? A 45-minute lag or even 10-minute lag on a payment is just not an option in e-commerce, especially in crypto, where people know things should settle faster. And so we only get one shot at impressing somebody and the user and their experience, and we just want to make it seamless. NEM's blockchain is doing about 4,000 transactions a second. Their team's phenomenal to work with. We get a lot of support where we need it, and they're very much enterprise focused. So their blockchain's very robust, and there's some major corporations all around the world using them. So they're the perfect partner for what we plan. And then with their future rollouts and things, it's like a hand in a glove fit. It's perfect.
Okay, that's great. So once you complete ICO, will pre-market token be available on any exchanges?
Yeah, absolutely. We haven't. I don't necessarily want to talk about what exchanges, but we've started the ball rolling in a few different areas. Absolutely, it'll be listed on multiple exchanges. Our plan is to start off and build volume with some of the smaller ones and get more and more traction and work up to the big names. But as you probably are well aware, you got to keep lips sealed on this sort of thing. So yeah, we're certainly working on it. That's definitely in our plan.
Yeah, and so my understanding from ERC20 tokens is that it's pretty quick to, relatively quick to list on an exchange. How do you find with NEM? Is it a similar ease of getting on to an exchange?
I wouldn't say it's as easy as Ethereum. I know Ethereum, you can get on there like same day if you really know what you're doing. So I wouldn't say it's quite as easy yet, but as more and more platforms support NEM's blockchain, because we're a mosaic on NEM, we're just simply following their lead. Everywhere they've gone, that's where we'll plan to be.
So Nathan, any final words to our audience?
Yeah, sure. If you want more information, you can jump on freemarkettoken.io. If you want to contribute to the project, you're in a perfect time. It's pre-ICO 1 now. It's only 2.5 cents per FMT right now, US cents. So get amongst it. That's only a short supply, so yeah, good times.
So thanks, Nathan. Jump online, check out their project. It sounds really cool, and I love that it's an Australian idea as well. This is Aussie Ty, and you've been watching A Crypto Current Affair. Click like and subscribe and join me on this Crypto Current Affair. Just because it's double doesn't mean it's a bubble.